Good morning everyone. In last class we have completed our chapter number 2, that was motion. Now from today I will start a new chapter, that is sound. Okay, in second semester portion chapter number 2 is there, motion, and chapter number 6 is there, that is sound. So from today we will see what is the sound and about the sound. So in today's class we will see the definition of sound. We will see how the sound is produced, means what are the sources of sound, and after that we will see how many kinds of sources are there of sound, like how many kinds of musical instruments are there of producing sound, which are producing sound. Now we will see how human beings produces sound, and we will see how sound propagate from one place to another place. So this much topics we will cover today. First of all, what is sound? So sound is also a kind of energy. Sound is a kind of energy which gives us sensation of hearing in our ears. Okay, so you will write the definition of sound is sound. It is a kind of energy. It is a kind of energy which gives sensation of hearing in our ears. Okay, so this will be the definition of sound, that sound is a kind of energy which gives us sensation of hearing in our ears. Because of sound energy only we are able to listen all the things. Next very important thing is light. Light can travel in air, it can travel in vacuum, it can travel in solid, liquid, but sound is different from light. Sound cannot travel in the vacuum. Why? Because vacuum is a region where no air is present, and sound required material medium to propagate. Okay, this is very important point about the sound. This first one, this second one. Sound needs material medium to propagate. To propagate from one place to another place. Okay, so this is the second important thing for the sound, that sound needs material medium to propagate. Like sound can move in air because air is a medium, and in air small particles are there. So sound can move in air. Sound can move in liquids because in liquids also particles are there. It is a medium. Sound can move in solid also. Okay, you take example like when I speak, you can listen me because the air is present in front of my mouth, in the surrounding, and that air particles will carry the sound from one particle to another particle, and they will form a wave, and the wave will go up to your ear and you will be able to listen the sound. Now take second example of water. You take a alarm clock and put alarm off any time and put that alarm clock inside the water. Okay, which is waterproof coming, waterproof watches are coming. You can use this waterproof watch for this activity. Now you put alarm in the alarm clock. After that you put that alarm clock in a bucket full of water. You will see when alarm will ring, when alarm is started ringing, you will listen the sound of alarm. Why? Your watch is inside the water, then also you are listening the sound. It proves that through the water also sound can pass. Okay, now we will take example of solid. You put your head on your desk. After that scramble it from down. You will listen the sound because sound travels through the wood also, means sound travel through the solid also. But on the moon surface, we know that on the moon surface there is a vacuum. Vacuum means no air is present on the moon surface. So when we will speak on the moon surface, you cannot listen my voice, I will not listen your voice, because their medium is not there, so sound will not propagate only. Okay, so sound needs material medium to propagate from one place to another place. The third important thing is that every vibrating body produces sound. Okay, every vibrating body produces sound. Means if any object is vibrating, it will produce sound. What is vibration? The motion of a particle from its mean position. Let us consider this O is mean position. Body will move to and fro again on this mean position. Okay, body will move to and fro about its mean position. This kind of motion is known as vibratory motion. Okay, so every vibrating body produces sound energy. If anything is vibrating, it will produce sound energy. Okay, now one activity is given in your book. Activity is given on the first page of the chapter only, that take a scale, take a ruler scale, you take a scale and fix one position or one part of the scale on the desk and pull it down. When you will leave it, it will vibrate, the scale will vibrate, the ruler will vibrate, and it will produce sound. Okay, this activity proves that every vibrating body produces sound. So these three important topics are there that you can take a screenshot of it. Okay, now we will see that how human beings are producing sound. Okay, how we are able to produce sound. Here we have seen when body vibrates, it produces sound. When body vibrates, it produces sound. So in human being throat, in the throat of human being, we will see here, let me erase it. In the human being throat, okay, like this, our neck is there, no? In the neck, this part, which is, okay, this part is known as throat. In the throat, there is a voice box. Okay, there is a voice box in our throat, and in the voice box there is two narrow slits are there. Two narrow slits which are made by muscles. It's known as vocal cords. This one and this one is known as vocal cords. Okay, so in the throat, voice box is there. Voice box is there, which is known as larynx also. Larynx. So in the throat, voice box is there, and in the voice box there is two thin sheet of muscles that is known as vocal cords. Okay, so this is the structure. These two thin sheets of muscle will vibrate and we will produce the sound. So listen carefully. In the human being, in the throat of human being, there is a voice box which is known as larynx. And inside the larynx there is two vocal cords. And vocal cords are the thin sheets of muscles. Okay, when we try to speak anything, air will come out from our lungs. Okay, air will come out from our lungs, and the air will vibrate. Air will pass through the vocal cords. Like this, air will pass through the vocal cords, and this air will make the vocal cords to vibrate. Okay, vocal cords will vibrate because of the air pushed by the lungs. Okay, and when this vocal cord will vibrate, it will produce sound. Understood? So this was the theory behind how we can speak. So we are speaking because our vocal cords are vibrating. Okay, now there are many sources of sound. In that, musical instruments are also the sources of sound. So how many kinds of musical instruments you have? First, musical instrument which are based on the vibration of air, like wind instruments, stringed instrument, membrane instruments, and the last one is also based on the air only. So wind instrument. In the wind instrument, like example, you can take French horn, which you are blowing air, no, and it is making sound, which you are using in your band practice. French horns. Okay, trumpet, flute is example of wind instrument. How they are producing sound? In wind instrument, there is no string, there is no membrane, but then also they produce sound because they have empty space, hollow space. Like you take example of French horn only, empty hollow space is there. In that, air columns are there, and when we blow air from our mouth, what will happen? The air will start vibrating and it will produce sound. So that is wind instrument. Now second kind of instruments, musical instruments, are the stringed instrument. The musical instrument which are having strings, like violin, guitar, sitar, these all are having strings. So when we pluck their string, the string move to and fro, means what? The string start vibrating, and in the vibration they produces sound. So in string instrument, the string of the instrument will vibrate. In wind instrument, the air inside the hollow space will vibrate. Now third type of musical instrument is membrane, like dholak, tabla, drum. These all are membrane instruments. Okay, or you can say percussion instrument. In that, when we strike, like take example of drum, which you are using in band practice. When you strike hammer on the drum, so what happened? Its membrane starts vibrating, and in doing so, it produces a very high sound. Okay, so understood musical instruments? Okay, how you can verify that the membrane is vibrating? Put some small stones on the drum surface. After that, you beat it one time only with the help of hammer. You will see the small particles of stone will move to and fro along with the membrane. This proves that drum membrane will vibrate and hence it will produce the sound. Understood? So we have seen here sources of sound. So musical instrument and human voice box. Okay, human voice box is a main source of sound. We are also main source of sound, no? Yes, because we are producing sound. Now we will see how sound propagates. Propagate means what? How sound is moving from one place to another place. How sound is moving from one place to another place, we will see. Okay. So let us consider this is a speaker. This is speaker. This is front position of the speaker. And we know that a speaker is also a source of sound. Okay? This is the medium where many particles of air is present. And here is the ear of listener. Okay, this is ear of listener. So when this speaker will produce sound, how the sound will move up to your ears? How? See. So when this speaker will start singing, okay, sound is coming out from it. So sound is a kind of energy. Sound energy is moving and it is transferring its energy to the particle next to the speaker. Okay, it will pass the sound energy to the next particle, and hence next particles will pass the energy to the next particle, and the next one will pass to the next particle. Because they all are not in stationary condition, they all are in moving condition. So when they will collide to the next particle, they will pass their energy to the next particle, and in doing so they will make a wave. See, they are forming a wave, and the sound will go up from speaker to our ear. So you can see here, this was an example. So when I am speaking, you are listening. How you are listening? So when I speak, I transfer the sound energy to the surrounding air particles, okay, which is near to my mouth, and that particles are continuously moving, and they are colliding with the next particle, and they are passing their energy to the next particle. Next particles are providing their energy to the next front particles. Like this, the wave will form of sound energy, and that wave will go up to our ears, and we will listen the voice of the speaker. Understood? So this is the phenomena how the sound propagates, from one place to another place. In the form of wave, sound will move from one place to another place. Now, how many types of waves are there? So there are two types of waves. There are two types of wave. First one, longitudinal. Longitudinal waves, and second one is transverse wave. In longitudinal wave, and what is the transverse wave, we will see here. In longitudinal wave, let us consider this is the wave, and it is a wave. Wave is moving in which direction? In this direction wave is propagating. Wave is moving in this direction. Let us consider on the wave, particles are there. In the case of longitudinal wave, the particle of medium. Okay, in last topic only we have seen that sound travel in the form of a wave. Okay, so on the wave, particles will be also there. So let us consider this is particle number A, this is particle number B, this is C, and this is D, and this is particle number E. We know that particles are vibrating. Okay, the vibration of our sound will pass to that particle, and it will start vibrating. When the particle of wave moves to and fro in the direction of propagation of wave, see, they are moving to and fro in the direction of propagation of wave, then this kind of wave is known as longitudinal wave. Listen carefully one more time. When the particle of medium moves to and fro about their mean position in the direction of propagation of wave, then this kind of wave is known as longitudinal wave. See, all the particles are moving to and fro about their mean position in the direction of propagation of wave. Now, the second one is transverse wave, that we will see. I am drawing here only so that easily you will understand the difference. This is longitudinal. Longitudinal wave. Now we will draw transverse wave here. So this is a wave which is moving in this direction. This is particle number A on the wave, B, C, D, E and F. Up to F it is enough. So A, B, C, D, E, F are the particles on the wave. Now we will see the transverse wave. So when particles move to and fro about their mean position perpendicularly to the propagation of wave, then this kind of wave is known as transverse wave. See here, particles are moving to and fro. You can say particles are moving up and down. Particles are moving up and down perpendicular to the propagation of wave is moving here, and particles are moving like this, so they are making perpendicular line. So when the particles of medium vibrates up and down in the perpendicularly to the propagation of wave. So this kind of wave is known as transverse wave. Transverse wave. Okay, so this is the main difference between longitudinal wave and transverse wave. Now, sound always travel in the form of longitudinal wave. Okay, light sometimes light. Okay, not sometimes, light travel in the form of transverse wave. So there are two kinds of waves here, longitudinal wave and transverse wave. Longitudinal wave and transverse wave. Longitudinal wave, a wave in which particle of medium move to and fro about their mean position in the direction of propagation of wave is known as longitudinal wave. And the particle, when the particles of medium moves to and fro, up and down, perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave, that kind of wave is known as transverse wave. And one more difference we have seen, that sound always moves as a longitudinal wave, light moves in the form of transverse wave. Okay. Now we will see the next topic, how sound moves as a longitudinal wave. How sound moves as a longitudinal wave. So when this is a speaker, here also I will take example of a speaker. This speaker is start singing. Okay, this is speaker, from a speaker sound is coming out. So when it produces sound, it moves outward and it apply pressure on the molecules which is situated here. So it will apply pressure, so the molecule will shift here. The molecule which were in front of the speaker will move here, and here they will create a empty space. Now when this speaker move inward, so what will happen? They will create empty space, and this molecules will apply pressure on the next molecules. Again empty space will be there, and all the molecule will shift at this position. So here two things are formed. This is rarefaction and this is compression. Rarefaction, compression, rarefaction, compression. Again we will get a series of rarefaction and compression. Rarefaction is a place where less molecules are present. All the molecules are shifted here. And the compression is the area where more molecules are present. See, this is compression, this is rarefaction. So when sound energy will move, the rarefaction, the series of rarefaction and compression we will get, that by lines we are showing like this. See, this is rarefaction, this is compression, again this is rarefaction, this is compression, again this is rarefaction and compression. So particle of medium are moving in the direction of propagation of wave only. You can see by this example. So we can say that sound moves in the form of longitudinal wave. Sound always move in the form of longitudinal wave. Okay. Now what you have seen in today's class, we have seen the definition of sound, that sound is a kind of energy which gives us sensation of hearing. Sound is a kind of energy which gives us sensation of hearing in our ears. Now sources of sound, all vibrating bodies are the sources of sound. If any object is vibrating, it will produce sound. Okay. After that we have seen how human being produces sound. So in the neck, in the throat of human being, there is a voice box that is known as larynx, and inside the larynx there is two vocal cords. That vocal cords are like a thin plastic sheets which is made up by muscles. Vocal cords are made up by muscles. When we try to speak anything, from our lungs air will go up to vocal cord and it will make vocal cord to vibrate, and hence vocal cords will vibrate and they will produce the sound. Now we have seen some musical instrument based on wind, string and membrane. So wind instrument, the air will vibrate in the hollow portion of the instrument and it will produce sound because of the vibration of air. In stringed instrument, their string will vibrate and they will produce sound. And the last one is called the membrane instrument or percussion instrument. In that, their membrane will vibrate and it will produce sound when we strike it. Okay, after that we have seen there are two types of waves, longitudinal wave and transverse wave. Sound move as a longitudinal wave because their particle of medium will move in the direction of propagation of wave. Light move in the form of transverse wave. Okay, next topic we will cover in the next turn. Okay, thank you for today's class. Thank you.